Now, I made a video about the other day about locks, how to know the steps to take before you go ahead and proceed with your hair transplant, especially if you have locks. And someone asked a question about, hey, what if I decide to cut off my hair, cut off the locks, can I reattach it? Because they heard where I said in the video that you can reattach your locks. And my answer is yes, and also a no. You have to know how to safely reattach your hair. So if this is you about to go for a hair transplant, or you've had a hair transplant and you shaved your hair and you have your locks, and you're wondering when is the right time for me to reattach my locks, this video is for you today. Now, if you're coming across this video for the first time, or you hear my voice for the first time, either on YouTube or Instagram, my name is Dr. Chafe. I'm a hair transplant surgeon, a hair loss coach. I've helped thousands of my clients regain confidence through hair regrowth and hair transplant. The question about when do I reattach my locks is a very valid question, because most people on locks, that is actually one of the reasons they think they are not a candidate for hair transplant, because nobody has actually addressed locks and when to reattach their locks, especially if they cut their locks when they get a hair transplant. So I'm going to address this video here. So to make it really easy for you, I'm going to give you 5 recommendations on what to do before you reattach their hair. So number 1 is, if you haven't had the hair transplant yet, this is a discussion you need to have with your hair transplant surgeon. First of all, you need to go to a clinic that can handle your hair and discuss with a hair transplant surgeon. What are you going to be talking about? We're going to talk about your options. What options do I have? What kind of hair transplant surgery am I going to be having? Is it a shaven or unshaven? So if it's shaven, is it a partially shaven hair transplant? You need to know all this. You need to sit down. Like I always say, your hair consultation is the only time you're thinking with a clear mind. After you have your hair transplant, your emotions will be all over the place that you might not ask the right questions. So that's why this video is very important, especially if you have locks. Ask that question to your hair transplant surgeon. What kind of hair transplant surgery am I getting? Do I need to shave my hair or I don't need to shave my hair? That's number 1. Then number 2, if they say you need to shave your hair, if you go to a clinic that only does shaven hair transplants and you need to shave your hair, ask them, what about my locks? I want to reinstall my locks after my hair transplant. Ask that question and see what they say. If they don't have an answer for you, it's either you seek a second opinion or you watch this video to the end to know what to do. So number 3, let's say you go ahead, and this is after the hair transplant. Remember we talked about before, you had the shaven hair transplant and you kept your locks and you say, when will I reattach my hair? So this is for you now. You need to know your time frame, your timeline. Remember, how many months before you start seeing visible hair growth is around 4 to 6 months. So you don't want to go ahead and reattach that locks back. You don't want to do that. You need to give your hair time. Hair growth takes time. How do you know your timeline? By reading your post-op instructions. You have to read it to know what to expect. Now, number 4. So when do I recommend you reattach the locks? 9 months to 12 months. To be on the safer side, 12 months, but 9 months is also okay. My final point you need to know before you go ahead and reattach that lock is, make sure you don't have any sign of inflammation, irritation, infection. Make sure your hair transplant surgeon gives you a go-ahead, okay? Before you reattach it. Once they give you a go-ahead and say everything is okay, some hair transplant clinics, they do virtual follow-ups. Some of them you have to come into the clinic. So whichever one works for you, go ahead, okay? So before you reattach it, make sure you run it by your hair transplant surgeon. The final point, this one is for free. Thank me later for this. If you are thinking about reattaching that locks, you have to kill that old behavior. What old behaviors am I talking about? Retightening every 6 to 8 weeks, you need to stop it. Once you reattach it, you need to let your hair breathe, let it grow. Do not go ahead and start retightening it every so often, every 6 to 8 weeks. please don't do it. So after your hair transplant, you wait 9 to 12 months to reattach your locks. After reattaching your locks, please let your hair grow. Leave it alone for another 12 months. Yes, it's very important. It is very important because you don't want to waste your time, waste your money, waste your resources, and still deal with hair loss after reattaching your locks. So, in summary of what I've said, reattaching your locks is possible, but timing is everything. Knowing your timing is everything. Communication is important. Recommended time frame 9 to 12 months post hair transplant. Then, after reattaching it, do nothing to that hair for the next 12 months. Let it grow. Okay? Avoid any tension, pulling, tugging to prevent further hair loss. Okay? And continue to take your medications that was prescribed for hair loss. And if you do all this, I think you can safely reattach your locks and still have a successful hair regrowth journey. Now, if you've watched this video to the end and you're planning on going for a hair transplant and you have locks and you're planning to cut the locks, comment down below and say thank you for this video. I'm sure nobody has talked about reattaching the locks and the time frame on when to reattach your locks. And if you've loved this video, head over to YouTube. YouTube name is Dr. Echefu. I teach you all these simple tips and tricks that you need to know that most clinics or most hair transplant doctors won't let you know. But here we don't gatekeep. We answer all questions. We answer all questions. You only need to ask and make an appointment, and you will know your options. So till next time, bye-bye.